to the Mashup.
Tell me whether I'm wrong or right. East or west, up or down, side to side. I sit to stand and fall to fly. Of all of my impulsive plans, pop and lock and salsa dances on demand. I follow leading off the map and stop the chatter, scream happily.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Welcome to the mashup. Welcome to the welcome to the mashup.
Welcome to the Mashup.
If you see something like the Charlie Kirk assassination, and your first thought shouldn't be, how can I make this about me? And I get it. You're reprehensible. You're an anathema to everything decent about humanity. But aside from being a ginger, you're also a bad person. So two things are clear. You're the enemy, and there is nothing you desire more than attention. So that makes this pretty basic art of war stuff. If your enemy desires something, deny it to them. So stop giving this person and everybody like her attention. That's the only way that they will go away, is if you just ignore them. Just ignore them. Just ignore them. And they'll eventually have to become baristas. That's basically it. And we're bringing in a new warning for the show. Yeah. Covering ourselves.
Warning: the following program contains logic, critical thinking, economics, intellectual honesty, and historical common sense. Leftist discretion is advised.
Sean.
Good morning, Twos. Mashup 175 coming in on, I don't know. It's, I'm happy to be here. I think me, along with probably everybody watching this, it's like, we need this. We need the show to do what the show does, provide some comedic relief to a world that is pretty difficult at times. And it seems like every week that goes by, I was saying to you before, this was, I don't know, was this a month ago, 2 months ago? I was like, man, this world is just so stupid. I was getting mad and sad and angry and everything else. But then we started to have a little bit of fun with it, because it's just like, I don't know what else to do. Like, you got to poke fun at how insane Canada's become. And then, everything happens with Charlie Kirk. And I was telling you, like, I got sent way too many videos, and I don't
Bemoan anybody for it.
Yeah, for doing it, right? Because I was in the middle of a podcast, came out, and I had no idea. Somebody says Charlie Kirk's been shot, so I was like, oh, what? And you think, I don't know what I thought, but I just clicked on it, and then I watched the video, and I'm like, well, that is about as difficult a video I've had to watch in a long time. So happy Mashup 175. It comes on a very sad note. Obviously, I don't think I need to say that to everybody watching. I'm sure everybody on this show knows what's gone on, and probably was a follower of Charlie for all the different places he'd gone and things he was talking about. And as Karen Kane says, heavy hearts this week. We've got a lot to talk about on Mashup 175. A lot of different things to talk about. We're supposed to be having Chris Sims hop on here. I assume she's going to join. We can talk more about Charlie when she hops on, twos. But, if you want to do Coots 6.5 here before we get started, to anyone enjoying the show, of course, like, share, make a Banksy of a rooster. We'll get into that here in a bit. But yeah, it's a heavy heart this Friday. And, Jamie Sinclair had called me and just, we always point out to the military men and Airborne Friday, and usually Airborne Friday is a happy note. This week it's kind of on a sad note. So to all the military men out there, appreciate you tuning in and being a part of the show. And if you enjoy the show, make sure you hit the retweet button and share with a friend and help get us out past some of the algorithms that try and hold us back.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing my very best to compartmentalize this as far as this show goes. I'm going to try and keep the rest of it as normal as possible, so I'm not just an insensitive prick. I mean, I am. I very much am. But this isn't me being that.
Yeah,
okay?
no, I think everybody knows that too.
Well, just so everybody's aware going into this. All right. As far as Airborne Friday goes, it's not always a happy Airborne Friday. I don't know if you heard about this or not. Edmonton-based Canadian Armed Forces member deployed in Latvia found dead. No details yet. This was a decades-plus veteran, and he has sadly passed. Warrant Officer George Hull. So there's that. And then more heavy news. All right. Coot 6.5. This is a guy who has a crazy long rap sheet, has been wanted for a shooting for the past several years, was found with several loaded, prohibited firearms and prohibited firearms accessories, and was given a 17-month jail sentence. Meanwhile, the guys in Coots, 6.5 years. Tamara Litch, looking at 8. Chris Barber
looking at 9, isn't it?
And melting his truck down. So there is that. Mm-hmm. So if anybody has any community notes or anything like that,
this is the time. Okay,
let us know.
At times like this in the world, you need community more than ever. So make sure if you got something going on that's going to bring community together, you let us know. There's been I gotta say, Twos, there has been a ton of people text me. Have we had a week like this where I've been sending you like, oh, this is going on and this is going on? So keep that going. I've been impressed by the amount of people sending me community notes and wanting to get different things shared on the show. So if you got things coming up, make sure you're putting it in the comments today, or you send me a text, because we'll try and get it on the show the best we can, the best my memory and Tuz's memory works, which at times can be kind of shoddy. Now before we get on rapid fire, we do have Chris Sims with us. Chris, welcome to the show.
Hi, Chris.
Good morning, gentlemen. Hi, thanks for having me on.
Well, I called you yesterday. In this side of things, I'm like, who do I know who's been in journalism longer than anyone? And that's not a date on you, Chris. I don't mean that in any way like that. Just we got talking last night. I thought it'd be you'd be a welcome addition today to talk about recent incidents with Charlie Kirk, and just your thoughts on it, and just to discuss it here for a few minutes this morning.
Yeah, and it's okay. I was born between the two good Star Wars movies, so that's fine. Somebody once called us Generation X-Wing, which I kind of love. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's horrible. Like, there's no real way to sugarcoat it. I'm at a conference right now, in fact, and I don't know if you can see, but people set up tables and they set up their little banners, and they put. I've got my iPhone on a stack of books from Franco. I'm going to put a sign out on my table that says, if you disagree with me, please come to the front of the line, which is something that Charlie Kirk said all the time. For folks who don't know what Turning Point USA was, Charlie Kirk was one of those kids in high school that always wanted to get involved and make a difference. And one of the earliest tweets, in fact, the earliest tweet I ever saw from him, and I'm pretty sure I started following him then, was back in 2011 when he sent a message to Glenn Beck. And he said, hey, I'm a 17-year-old high school student who's working with the Tea Party, and I want to fight debt and deficit. And he started Turning Point USA when he was 18. And there's a lot of us who are in this ecosystem who are commentators, and we're kind of only really on a screen. And then there's those of us who go out and meet people like we do at Cornerstone and other events, Sean and Toos. And Charlie he did that all the time. It was the grind, campus after campus after campus, stacking the stickers, early mornings, hauling the books, putting up the banners. And with Turning Point, what he was trying to do was get very young people like him involved and caring about politics. Because as Pierre Poilievre said, and as many, wise people have said in the past in different languages, if you don't take an interest in politics, politics will sure as hell take an interest in you. And he embodied that. And I'll admit, I'm pretty shaken up by it, because Kirk was different in the sense that, yeah, he would have his opinions and he would spar with young people. But if you watch the full videos of him interacting with them, he was always doing so with a bit of humor and some grace and some kindness. He was trying to get them to come to the front of the line and, through the Socratic method, find out why they were doing what they were doing with their lives. And he was sitting on a stage with a microphone in his hand wearing a Freedom t-shirt when he was murdered. So it's pretty tough this week.
Can I ask I don't understand this because I never interviewed Charlie. I never saw him speak live. I watched his videos and like some of his interviews and on and on. And I'm like, I can't figure out why. I was saying it too. The only word I could think of this morning was numb. I just feel like numb to it. And I don't know why. I don't know why a guy I've never met makes me emotional. Like I was just kind of like, I told Tooz, I laid on the couch. He's like, how you doing? I'm like, yeah, I'm doing fine. And then I thought about it. I'm like, well, I just laid on the couch for like 2 hours and wanted to do nothing. I'm like, that makes no sense to me. I'm like, this guy wasn't, coming to the Lloydminster community. At least I don't remember that ever happening. I'm like, I guess, Chris, I don't know if you have an answer to that, or Tooz for that matter, or anyone. I just like, it seems so odd to me to have such emotion to a man that represented a lot of the ideals that I think very highly of. But I can't figure that out. I'm so confused by it, I guess, is maybe another word I'd use this morning.
If I may, quick, I've known you for a couple of years now, and I love you dearly. And I don't know you for as long as other friends have known you. But if I could just, as a person, go out on a limb and say, Charlie Kirk was a Christ follower, like hardcore. He would quote scripture like I can't quote scripture like that dude can, not even close. And he really would turn things into almost a form of ministry sometimes. Other times he could go right into Austrian economics, and that's more my speed. He could quote Ayn Rand, right, which is again more my world. But for you, Sean, and how I hear you speak to people, it could be that. You could be sensing that sense of fellowship with him. Also, the way that you reach out to people, like instantly and warmly, and really connect with them and try to get young people from all walks of life involved with what you're doing, frankly, young and old from all walks of life. Kirk did that. Now, like, we followed each other on Twitter, but like I didn't interact with him directly. I regret that deeply now for not even sending him a note saying, hey, I admire you signing up young people. But I have friends who knew him really well. I have friends who work with Glenn Beck, and they were best friends. Glenn Beck's daughter, his teenage daughter, was right next to the tent when this happened, because I think she's a volunteer with Turning Point or works with Turning Point. So I would say you're probably having a response like this because it's part of your circle and your ecosystem. And also, man, you get up on a stage and you talk about free speech with a microphone in your hand. Like this hits close to home. So I just, as a friend, I would offer that's probably why you're feeling this. Plus, like, the video is just horrific.
Horrific.
I wish I could delete it from my mind because I keep seeing it and I keep putting people in my circle like in it, and I hope it goes away.
I don't know if I got anything, Tooz.
It's okay, man. Like, it's a bad time. It's okay to feel like this, I think.
I think one of the things about Charlie Kirk specifically is that he was by far one of the most olive branch people. And that's the person that somebody decided they were going to take cancel culture to the next level with. It wasn't some guy like me that just spouts off about how stupid everything is over on that side. And so, it's not as though they went after, I mean, they did go after Trump. But if Trump had actually been killed, I feel like it would hit people in the gut far less than this did.
Yeah, it's. I, I'm still trying to articulate too. It's also that he wasn't an elected representative, right? He works for an advocacy organization
Mm-hmm.
who wants young people to get involved in politics and sign up. Get out to vote. What am I always preaching on your stage? Tell 10 friends. Like, go to your local Wednesday meeting, get involved, get off the bench, stay in the arena. And it's hard, man, because yeah, like he had strong views, like absolutely he did. And there's some, like, I probably technically disagree with some of them. That's fine. The point that Kirk kept trying to make is that we can talk this out. Like, let's, literally, he would say, folks who disagree with me most, come to the front. Like, I want to talk to you. And you could see him like talking with people who, to put it mildly, you could tell by just how they look. Not always. They definitely would vote differently than Charlie, you could imagine. And it was always like, and why do you say this? And why do you think that? And oh, that's interesting. And he'd be like, what do you think? And he was trying to debate them. Don't get me wrong. But it was always words, words, words. He was stressing all the time that we have to do this peacefully. We have to talk this out. And to your point, Twos, very olive branch language, very much love thy enemy, love thy neighbor, turn the other cheek language. So much so that I noticed right away that after someone murdered him, and I don't like using the passive voice of things happened. No, after someone murdered him, it wasn't just Trump that came out talking about it, and Pierre Poilievre and Daniel Smith. It was Barack Obama. It was Joe Biden. It was Wab Kinew. It was international leaders. Like, they came out quick on this stuff. And so I think it is resonating with a lot of people. Even Bernie Sanders put out a very long video saying, like, you cannot do this. No. And also to you ghouls online, like, stop celebrating this. What does the matter with you? I'm paraphrasing him, but that's what he was saying. So yeah, I think something has shifted, and I'm not in tune yet enough to understand what has shifted, but something has definitely shifted.
Well,
they
just John Wicked a couple 100 million people is what happened.
Yeah.
Speaking of people talking online, there's a whole, like, me and Twos were talking about where we started, like, MSNBC Matthew Dowd, political analyst, no longer at the network after some things he posted. A Florida reporter was suspended. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, Education Commissioner warned the state's teachers that making disgusting statements about Kirk's assassination could draw sanctions, including suspension or revocation of their teaching license. Me and Twos always talk about comics and movies. Well, DC Comics announced that it was ditching a new Red Hood series, a Batman spinoff, after the comics writer Gretchen Felker Martin had published comments about Kirk's shooting online. Like, it just goes on and on and on. NFL's Carolina Panthers distanced themselves from an employee. And then here in Canada, I haven't followed up on all these Twos, or Chris for that matter. But like, there was a U of T professor who came out saying things. There was a professor in BC who said some pretty disgusting things.
There was a social worker in BC that got fired too.
Right. And so that's been some of the, I don't even know, whatever, the aftermath of people coming out celebrating someone being shot. And, I guess I remember the dark days of COVID when people were talking about Justin Trudeau in a similar light of, like, somebody needs to go assassinate that guy, and on and on. And, along the convoy, there was something that changed. And I remember, whether it was in conversations or in interviews, people saying, I used to think that way. I just want him to talk to us. I just want to end this. I just want him to, stop what he's doing. And I saw a turn at that time from physical violence to just like, can we just talk? And it's just, I don't know. I don't know the words to say on the other side now, having somebody actually physically assassinated, murdered right in front of everyone. And then all the people coming out excited and almost bloodthirsty for the vengeance or the whatever the word is.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people who are formerly on the left and taking a stark look at the people they've surrounded themselves with over the years. There's a lot of videos that came out and things like that of people being like, "This is not me."
Yep, that's true.
And
to be
there's
fair,
a lot of
people are saying that.
and there's a lot of people kind of in the middle who've been like, I need to distance myself from anything like this. And they're going to be making a whole lot more Charlie Kirks, but not with as many olive branches, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, it's
so something that
yep.
yeah, something that one of my friends at CTF said recently, because we were not talking about this, but talking about in-person events, is I think, you know, you and I, we've all met each other in person, and obviously we agree on most things, so it doesn't necessarily apply to us. But I think a lot of times we're trapped in this frame, and we're not connecting with each other directly enough anymore. We're not looking each other in the eye. We're not reading our body language. We're not sensing when someone else is a bit scared by what we're saying and then backing off. And that human connection, we're losing that. If people, and I don't recommend they watch the video, but assuming they saw what was done to that man, and there are reports, God forbid this is true, I hope it's not, there are reports that his family was in the front row. If someone can see something like that and cheer, they've really got to look inside themselves. I don't care who's up on the stage. You have to stop and think, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And really unpack your backpack and find out how you got to this point. Because to your point exactly, Tooz, I am seeing folks who online, I was purposefully trying to not look at what they were doing because I was too focused on my work and I didn't want to be mad at them to go see what they were saying. And then it popped up anyway, and they were saying things like that of, whoa, this is not me. We got to step back here. Folks, like, this is not okay. And for those folks who are watching this, who are in that moment of, whoa, let's back off from this, like, welcome, that's good. I would recommend a few things. One, absolutely stop using stupid language like you're a fascist, you're a Nazi. No, those terms are for those specific terrible, heinous things. Crack open a history book. Actually read about those groups of people. And I use that word loosely before you say anything like that. Because it's those kind of inaccurate labels that starts making this toxic black thinking. So I would strongly recommend that people turn the temperature down, back up, okay? Think about what you're about to say and post before you do it. And what really is, I think, going through the advocacy community, because the Taxpayers Federation, we started in 1990, like, the boss who first hired me, he was first standing behind a table like this, talking to people back in 1985 on campuses. We have to be able to speak. Free speech is essential to hold government to account. And at the very basis of it, if we can't hold government to account, they're going to take half our money and seize our stuff. But at the worst of things, they're going to trample on our rights, like with the Emergencies Act. But most of the time, they're just doing stupid things with our money. Thank God, that's what they're only doing most of the time. But in order to hold government to account, we have to have free speech. And we can't have stuff like this going down, or things are going to change and it won't be for the good.
Well, I think there's a lot of people who are feeling like the rules of engagement have changed after this. And speaking of holding government to account, the media. I'm going to go ahead and say just my stance on this. You know, here's just a selection of headlines. MAGA pastor accuses Charlie Kirk of inspiring Hitler Youth. Charlie Kirk hypes up Trump with terrifying fascist speech. Charlie Kirk doesn't really seem to mind white nationalism. There's a half dozen more up there. The media in Western society loaded the gun that killed Charlie Kirk. That's my take. They've been making a living off of they've been getting more and more increasingly desperate as the revenues have gone downstream, and if it bleeds it leads, and they've just gotten more and more dishonest in their coverage of so many things because hate clicks are still clicks, and there's a very small subset of people who actually still believe some of the things that are being said with garbage like this. And this is I don't think anybody could take an honest look at these kind of articles that led up to this and said that they're not contributing.
So even before the lockdowns, back when we've always been fighting the carbon tax, but before the lockdowns, we were always fighting the carbon tax, and I would go on mainstream media quite a bit, and I still do all the time. I still have friends who work in it. I worked in it myself for almost 20 years. I had opponents in my debates who were from mainstream organizations because I wanted to cancel the carbon tax in Canada, were calling me a climate change denier. And anyone who's being honest knows where that language comes from. That language is supposed to ring bells in people's heads for being something which is absolutely heinous and disgusting, which is a Holocaust denier. Like, to attribute or to kind of put those two things next to each other is insane. But they were just throwing that language around. And they were saying, oh, you want towns to burn down. You're a monster. You're a monster. And this wasn't just some rando on Twitter. This is somebody from an accredited organization who was on the radio. And it's just like, I would never assume that of you. Like, I would never, assume these terrible things of you. Why? Because I want somebody to pay less money at the gas station and not be punished for heating their home. Could you make these terrible assumptions and throw labels around like this? And it's that kind of stuff. And I would call it out straight up. If it were somehow someone on the right or like small government that was using that kind of language, I don't know what it would be, the equivalent to someone on the left, I would also call that out and say, like, knock that off. Like, it's not helpful. It makes people feel amped up and anxious and angry, and they start, it affects their thinking. So stop doing that. I'll point this out. I worked on Parliament Hill for a long time. Jack Layton used to come on the show that I was producing a lot. And even when I went to Sun News Network, which was politically different from Jack Layton, to put it nicely, he still came on. He came to the studio with his wife, like, all the time. Had a friendly debate, had some coffee, went back to the office. That's how things worked. When he died young of cancer, Prime Minister Stephen Harper cried in the foyer of the House of Commons and gave him a state funeral. Like, we got to knock this off.
Chris, we appreciate you giving us some time today. Any final thoughts before we let you out of here?
I just wanted to encourage, especially young people. Charlie Kirk was before I obviously knew of him, and some of my friends knew him very well. And there's young people I know that would go down to Turning Point USA sessions for leadership training and signing people up. They kind of work on campaigns, not within advocacy, but in different groups. And so you hear about it. And I know he was really big with teenagers. I was speaking with my teenager before all this horror happened, a week ago. And I said, well, outside of Alberta, who's your most influential, political person, would you say? And to my surprise, she said Charlie Kirk. It's the first thing she said. And she's 17. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And she said, yeah, he's really big with teenagers. And if you look through Twitter or X, it's post after post after post from people who say something like this. I was 14 years old and I wanted to I think it was clean up his neighborhood. like make sure that there was no glass in the streets. It was something very humble and simple. And I wanted to start a community organization. And this guy, Charlie Kirk, DM'd me and said, "This is how you do it, kid. Come to this group and we'll help you out. We'll get you started." People starting off things saying I was 14, I was 17, I was 19. Like, he really like affected good change in young people. And I just wanted to encourage them, if they're watching, like, you will be able to find other leaders. This organization, that one that he led, will obviously keep going. If something else appeals to you more and it fits in line with your values more, go with that. But just don't give up hope. I just want to encourage them today.
Appreciate you coming on and doing this, Chris. As
Thank you
always,
very much.
great having you on, even on a sad tone and moment, everything else. Till we have you on again or we meet again in person, appreciate you giving us some time this morning. All right, Twos. We have to find a way. You said compartmentalize it, I think, at the start of the show. Yeah, like give it, everybody. I need everybody watching this thing to have a just. Okay, I need Twos back right now because I need to laugh a little bit. I can't sit here and wallow for the next hour. I can't hear a word you're saying. I can't hear a word you're saying.
How about now?
I can hear you now. Okay, there we go.
All right.
Because we got
Let's not belabor this point. We're going to move forward with this. This is what you guys presumably came here for. All right.
All right. Polls. Let's go to the polls, okay? Polling Canada, the justice system here. I'm going to pull it up. The justice system the justice system is working against the interests of citizens, 54%, protecting the interests of citizens, somehow, September 7th.
Less than 30% of Canadians think the government or think the justice system is protecting the interests of citizens. I would say that those numbers seem a little bit low, although there are quite a lot of government employees who are completely detached from reality.
PHAC to take over vaccine injury program after global news investigation. The Public Health Agency of Canada will take over the troubled vaccine injury support program, BISP, after a global news investigation revealed serious flaws in its operation and administration practices. Xero had received $50.6 million taxpayers' dollars. $33.7 million has been spent on administrative costs. While interested say they've now received $54.1 million and spent $36.3 million on administration costs, with $18.1 being paid to Canadians. It underestimated the number of injury claims this would get, initially predicting 40 per year. Have been filed. More than 1,700 people await decisions on their claims.
And keep in mind that most people don't even know this exists.
Correct.
People are showing up in the comments saying that everything is getting choppy as all hell or terrible connection. I don't know. The internet seems to be fairly overloaded since the whole Charlie Kirk thing. Everything looks fine on our end.
I don't know. Is everybody having problems? Let's take 2 minutes. We'll see what the comments say, because I can see you rough audio. For who? For everyone?
Yeah.
Because I hear you clear as a whistle there, Twos.
Choppy as fuck. I don't know what's going on.
Rough audio. Well, here's what we can do. We're going to post the show after it's done, and everything on our end looks clean as it gets. So I don't know what to say. Yes, crackling for both of you. Well, isn't that great? We try and interject some. We're going to change the.
Even Kevin says it's not good.
Well, you sound great on my end.
Yeah, and you, with a grain of salt, sound as good as you ever do.
Here, we'll remove. I'm still here. You're still there.
Welcome to the
Anything-
mashup, Sean.
Yes, welcome back to the mashup. People on the podcast, what the heck is going on when I upload this? Yeah, it's saying chop chop.
And
on
we're still
everything.
getting chop. We're just gonna keep going with this.
Yes,
'cause
hopefully it gets better.
Our audio is fine, and if nothing else, it gets downloaded locally. So the clean version will be on Spotify.
That's right. Okay, let's switch to this. Police say Calgary man tunneled into upstairs neighbor's unit after a dispute. Police say a woman had been having ongoing issues with the neighbor living directly below her until the 6400 block of Coach Hill Road Southwest. Hurley said there had been one or two interactions between the male neighbor and police over the past couple of months where there was concern for his mental health. The issues was enough. The woman left her residency for a period of time, and when she came home, she couldn't enter her house because it had been locked from the inside. Once she was inside, she discovered a strange scene where behind the fireplace there was a large hole in the floor that police say looked into and had been cut, appeared to connect to the suite below. So the guy tunneled up, locked her out of her house, and was like, "You're not getting back in, lady." And
Yeah, so that's a little creepy. Interesting though. It's funny how he's not named.
It is. Yes, I also noticed that.
Yeah, which is interesting because call back to a few months ago where the woman sprayed a water gun over the fence of her backyard and was charged with firearms offenses in Ontario, and she was named and lost her job because of it. Phil says it sounds like we're underwater. No, that's just the economy. Carney says he understands frustrations of pro-independence Albertans. We should probably just
quoted, "I understand the frustrations in the development of the resources in province, realizing the full potential of Alberta. The world admires and respects our country. We're not perfect, but the world wants what we have. We're stronger together," Carney said.
You know, it's really interesting, Sean, when you look at this, because if he actually understood us, he would probably approach things slightly differently. He would stop being, unnecessarily punitive towards this province. And it's funny because you'll get people talking on Twitter. You'll see you'll see media pundits do this where they say, well, you know what? As much as Alberta wants to complain, they are by far the wealthiest province in Canada. And like it's basically the equivalent argument of saying, I cut off half your dick and it's still bigger than mine, so what are you complaining about? And meanwhile, on our end, we're like, you cut half my dick off.
Sharon Cower served as the deputy chief of staff of former Liberal Finance Minister Bill Morneau, says Poilievre pushing a toxic narrative on Canada's foreign worker policy.
I think it's the actual foreign worker policy that's toxic, but maybe that's just me.
Yukon Liberal MPs, there's a whole bunch of them now. 7 out of 8. Here, I'm going to pull up this tweet. 7 out of 8 Yukon Liberal MLAs will not seek MPs. MLA Liberal Cabinet Minister and MLA for Riverdale South announced today that she will not seek re-election. The only Liberal MLA running again is Jeremy Harper.
Now, that's weird because they're the incumbents. And they all just said, yeah, we're all out. We don't want to do this anymore. There's more to this story, and I don't know what it is, but there's more to this story because you don't just quit a winning team.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. You want to show the video of Niagara Detention Center?
Yeah, I do actually. Remember what we were saying about give him to us. They're chanting that about what is his name again? Daniel Seneca, who goes by the name Danny and has the preferred pronouns she, her, and recently asked to go to jail in a women's prison.
Correct. Twos, you disappeared. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. This is how Mashup 175 is going to go. I can't hear a word you're saying. I can't hear you. Mashup 175, folks. Maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe today is just.
Is this working?
Yeah, it's working now. I mean, maybe Mashup 175 was just meant. We're going to talk about Charlie. We're going to get the heck off here.
No. We are going to figure this the fuck out.
Okay.
Sean.
Well, okay. I was saying to you, the Niagara Detention Center reminds me of Wyatt Earp standing out front of the courthouse, and the angry mob comes, and they're like, give him to us right now. We want to hang him, right? Except for Wyatt Earp, it's usually the gang wanting their gang member back, and he's like, you can have him, but you're gonna have to take me in a rush, and I'm gonna take you and you and you. But civil unrest, the justice system figures itself out.
Now, what the cops need to do is just be like, oh, actually, you know what? We decided you're free to go. Like when they were chanting, give him to us, give him to us. They should have been like, you know what? Actually, I left the handcuffs at home. Shoot. Yeah, just why don't you come back later? Just come back. Go say hi to the crowd. Come back later. It'll be fine.
Ottawa considering scrapping tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. I'm going to pull this up. It says, according to Nanos Research, a survey with CTV News, which found 62% of respondents either support or somewhat support removing 100% tax on all Chinese-made EVs in the hopes that China may remove tariffs against Canadian crops like canola.
I mean, isn't it funny that eventually it's almost like Twos was right? It's almost as though Twos was right, Sean. He said that we shouldn't have these tariffs in place in the first place. And then actually we're jumping ahead a tiny bit, but Ottawa just announced $370 million in subsidies for the EV industry in Canada just the other day. Did you see that?
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes.
The subsidies
Yes.
for the EV industry?
Yes.
Now, technically, they said that they're for the canola industry, but this is a patch on a patch on a patch. And the underlying issue, the reason why the $370 million subsidy is even on the table is because of the tariffs on Chinese EVs in an attempt to have a protectionist environment for Canadian-made EVs. So let's be clear, even though they said it's for canola, but the reason why that $370 million exists is because of the EV industry. So at the end of the day, this is not for canola producers. This is not for Western Canada. That $370 million is to shut up Western Canada so that they can deal with the bullshit that was caused by protecting the EV industry. Go back to the start. That's where the rock fell in. Oh, you're going to put that in. Okay.
Thank you. Okay. This is what he puts. We must protect the children from this. This is Danielle Smith, and she's holding up an Archie Comics. Okay. And then Twos goes, I fixed it for you. And I mean, yeah.
So I for those of you listening along, I had taken that actual picture from the book where the one boy is filleting another boy, and I put that over top of the Archie Comics, and I ratioed the fuck out of him, actually. My reply got way more traction than his original post did, and then he responded by blocking me.
Yeah, well, I mean, people are so stupid.
Like, here's the thing, is that this is multiple people in multiple levels of our mainstream media, because not only did the cartoonist make it and intentionally, either he didn't understand what he was making the cartoon about, or he's intentionally
misleading
presenting
people?
it. Okay?
Yes.
And then that went to an editor, and the editor either didn't understand what was going on or intentionally misrepresented it by allowing that cartoon to be published in his newspaper. So this is multiple levels of engagement in the legacy media that is either ignorant or malicious. And when you call them out on it, and when you point it out, and when the entire masses are crying out and saying, this is fucking bullshit, and you're lying to us, the response is, we're going to silence you for the next time we speak. You don't hate the media enough. Here's one other thing. This ties into it here. Some guy named Jared Jetland. Am I the only one who didn't realize until today that this is a strap-on? These gay panic 2.0 dipshits are such soft fuckers. And that was a response to that tweet that I had done. And in one of the pictures, one of the childs is sucking on a strap-on of the other child. But that's not really the argument you think it's making, Jared. And in fact, you're kind of making everybody think that you and other Jareds have things in common.
Here is, okay, so this is a mural outside. Well, here, I'll read it. The artwork confirmed by Banksy via on Instagram was post captioned simply, Royal Courts of Justice London depicts a black and white stencil of a robed judge in traditional wig and gown wielding a gavel to strike a prone protester on the ground. The protester holds a placard splattered with red paint. And you can see it there. Okay, there's the picture. And then I think it's the next one. They've got it covered and they're getting rid of it, said mural. Yeah.
And they did a shitty job of getting rid of it. So you can still see it faintly. And that's probably more of a pronounced statement than the original one was, to be honest with you. So yeah, free speech is dying in the UK.
Sorry, I'm just been on the back end, folks. I've been listening to so on X it is glitching weirdly, and I was just checking on Rumble. Rumble seems to be better. That's my just quick take on it. So if you're listening to the show and you're trying to find like what the heck, go to the Sean Newman podcast at Rumble, and it seems to be better there. I could be wrong. Maybe I didn't listen.
Or give the Mashup on YouTube a try. I did notice that like the day that Charlie Kirk got assassinated, Twitter almost wasn't even working right. It was just, and I assume that they're just so overloaded and still so overloaded. Next article.
10 more beer stores shutting down this weekend in Ontario. We've been following all the shutdowns. They have to keep 300 open to get a giant
$225 million bailout.
Yeah. So I mean, just 10 more shutting. We all know it's going to go. They're going to close down to 300, but they're going to keep 300 open until the end of the year. So I mean, it's just another headline that we're keeping track of. Carney says Canadian canola producers have been hit hard by Chinese tariffs, so we're stepping in. This is what Tuz was talking about with major investments to help them, as well as other agriculture. Here, I'll pull up that tweet. Carney pledges $307 million in incentives for canola sector in wake of Chinese tariffs. So this is the headline you were talking about.
I didn't hear anybody in the media pointing out the fact that this is essentially an EV subsidy.
We have here, I'll pull this up.
The Ukrainian.
Yes, sorry. So I'm not going to show this video either. But the other thing that happened is the 23-year-old Irina Zarutska fled Ukraine seeking safety from the war and hoping for a new beginning, only to be attacked on the Charlotte light rail. Her life was cut short thanks to a 34-year-old DeCarlos Brown Jr., who has been in and out of prison for the last 15 years. He walks by her, stabs her twice. That's a gruesome video to watch as well.
He's sitting behind her, and then he's like, "Oh, fuck it." He takes out a knife, opens it up, stabs her in the neck, and then leaves. And you didn't hear anything about this in the mainstream media for days until somebody says YouTube has good audio, by the way. If anybody wants to switch over to there or whatever, you do you.
Switch over to YouTube and follow us on there.
Yeah,
right?
actually, that's a great point. That's a great point.
For once, YouTube, of all the places, YouTube
comes through.
Yes. So I don't know why.
But
yes. Okay.
So here's the thing with this is that nobody in the mainstream media covered this for days, and even when they did it very much. I'm barely going to touch this with a 10-foot pole. This is a beautiful woman who got a beautiful white woman who got stabbed in the neck completely randomly, senselessly on public transit by a black person, which is everything that the mainstream media hates talking about. It was all combined. I guarantee you, if this had been a white person stabbing some transgender, blue-haired, crazy person, the first knife stab goes, it gets blocked by her septum ring, and then the second and third one go through, and she starts spouting pronouns all over the side of the bus. That would have been the front page of everywhere. But this got no fucking coverage.
I'm just sharing for people here. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to toss it in the chat too. Sorry, I'm doing two things at once here.
Yep.
But there, I posted the YouTube link in the chat. So if people want to just click on that if they're having issues with the audio there's somewhere for them to land. Ken Dryden is the next and passed away at the age of 78. So, hockey fan.
Did I ever tell you about Ken Dryden?
No, I don't think he did.
Oh, so he, my hometown in Saskatchewan, back before Hockeyville was an actual thing, was like the OG Hockeyville. There was a big fundraiser. We had, there's nothing about this on the internet because it's so long ago. But Ken Dryden came to our town a bunch of times, and then like him, Gordie Howe, Tiger Williams, Sergei Fedorov, played a whole bunch of like celebrities at the time. But keep in mind, this is like the early 90s. So they had this big fundraiser hockey game at Sask Place in Saskatoon. And so it was all these, all-time greats in the NHL playing a bunch of celebrities, but it was early 90s celebrities. So it was like, Alex Trebek was on there, and Dave Coulier, and Alan Thicke from Growing Pains, and it was this really cool thing. But Ken Dryden really helped spearhead that, and it was a big fundraiser for my town to get a new rink. And so met him a couple times. I've got a signed copy of his book. Class act all around.
There, I tossed it in X as well. I'm
listening to you.
I'm listening to you, but I'm also I'm thinking of all.
You're always
people
sad because we don't spend enough time covering hockey stories, and I've got a really good, feel-good personal story about what just happened here, and you're just like, I'm just going to note links.
I am worried about all of our listeners.
I'm not
listening.
I want to tell my story.
Businesses rank being stifled by red tape as a bigger threat than Trump's tariffs. New report finds the Business Council of Canada, a non-partisan group. Twos was right. A self-pat on the back to Twos. The Business Council of Canada, a non-partisan organization that represents businesses across the economy, found that Canada's regulatory burden is growing rapidly, with the number of government requirements now topping 321,000, an increase of 37% since 2006. The report identifies a wide range of examples of dubious red tape, including multiple and overlapping environmental, social, and governance ESG frameworks, lags of nearly 250 days to get a building permit, and overlapping federal and provincial privacy legislation.
This is what we've been talking about forever. Get the stupid laws off the books, and people actually be able to build things in this country again.
You want to show a video of, show me your Nepals. Nepali, I walked into that one, didn't I, folks? All right. Nepali.
Okay.
Who put the question mark on the teleprompter? Everybody knows Ron reads it. Anyways, Nepali Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli resigned Tuesday as demonstrators to the streets again in the country's capital, setting fire to the parliamentary buildings despite the lift of the ban Monday night. What's going on? 22 people, as the video is playing, 22 people have been killed during the protests in Nepal. It's been dubbed Gen Z protests. These were predominantly led by students and young civilians frustrated by nepotism, corruption, and economic disparities. A viral social media trend exposed the lavish lifestyle of politicians' children. They call them Nepo kids, such as luxury cars and overseas travels, contrasting with widespread poverty. The immediate spark was the government's September 4th ban on on 26 social media platforms, including Facebook, X, YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok, for failing to register under new rules, seen as an attempt to silence anti-corruption campaigns.
So there's a government in the world that when too many people were talking about the bullshit that they were doing and the nepotism and the corruption, they made it harder. They introduced a bunch of laws that the social media companies would have had to adhere to. Otherwise, they aren't allowed to share anything on social media. Does this sound familiar to anybody else?
Civil unrest is spreading too. It's happening everywhere. We haven't even got to the UK yet, you know?
Well,
Like,
we
it's-
did
it's
with
just-
the Banksy, but yeah.
It's true with the Banksy, but we got more coming on, what do you call them, a Muppet? Yeah, anyways, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
National building projects. Okay, there's a couple things here. One, Tim Houston, Premier of Nova Scotia,
Yeah,
says Wind West has the potential to make Nova Scotia an energy superpower and transform their economy.
yeah, but the most important part of this is the second sentence. Now, I just listen to what I'm saying, and this is a direct quote. With the support from Ottawa, we can bring it. With the support from Ottawa, we can make Nova Scotia more self-reliant. With the support from Ottawa.
Are you saying that's contradictory?
This is a guy who just a few weeks ago told everybody that walking through the woods would create forest fires, and that's only the second stupidest thing he's said recently.
Then you have Blacklock's PM Mark Carney names previously announced ventures as First Nation building projects to be fast-tracked by cabinet. This includes a nuclear research program licensed 5 months ago. And then there's a tweet here. Oh, what?
So yeah, let's just frame this a little bit here.
Okay.
So Mark Carney announced that there's a bunch of critical projects that are in the national interest that the government of Canada is going to be fast tracking. And it turns out that all of them are things that had been previously approved, and none of them are fucking pipelines. Go ahead.
This was the list somebody had done up here. LNG Canada Phase 2 complete federal and provincial assessment in 2016 after PM Harper authorized the Joint Canada BC environmental assessment in 2015. Darlington Nuclear Generating Station SMR.
Small modular reactors.
Thank you. Ontario approved OPG's construction plan in May 2025 following a license issued in April 2025. Foreign McVenna Bay mine construction is more than 50% complete as of August 26, 2025. It just goes on and on and on. Red.
So the point is like, this is me going down the street and saying that bridge is in the national interest and I approve it. That bridge that's already there? Yeah. Okay. That field over there is in the national interest. That field was there before the country was. But I approved it and give me adulation. Okay? And in the midst of all of this, there isn't a single fucking pipeline approval. Now, having said that, there aren't a whole lot of companies interested in investing in Canadian pipelines right now. And so if you were going to do anything as a country, you would have to put in shit tons of guarantees, and you would have to have a whole bunch of potential liability on, like, you would have to just give them all kinds of guarantees, like what Jason Kenney tried to do with the trans, like the one that went into the States. I'm blanking on the name. Anyway.
I'm also blanking on the name. I'm trying to help you out. Actually,
that, but several times over. And so nobody's interested in investing in it. And for everybody saying, well, maybe it's just because pipelines aren't really that good of an investment. No, motherfucker, because the pipelines are still getting built all over the world. If the construction magically stops at the imaginary Canadian border, it's not a case of the business case magically stopping there. It's the regulations starting there. Remember that time 5 minutes ago we were talking about all the red tape in Ottawa? This is that on fucking steroids. And so Danielle, and she's super happy with how things went. What the fuck is there to be happy about? We're in a country where we can't get pipelines built on their own. We can't even get the government to jump in and save pipeline projects. People in fucking Ontario are losing their goddamn minds. You've got some baby rapist wanting to get into a woman's prison. At what point is Western Canada going to say that we are just not culturally the same as the rest of these Eastern fucking weirdos? And look, I get it. There's probably some of you in some middle of the nowhere Ontario who are like, hey, you know what? That isn't me. And I get that. It's an absolute damn shame that the 90% of grifting, despicable assholes.
To all of our Ontario or Eastern listeners, we love you. We do. It's just you got a bunch minority. Of doofuses out
and
there.
I get it. I'm a fringe minority too. It's fine.
Here's something interesting. The NDP. There's a headline.
Well, I mean, wait.
Okay.
I got something for this. Sean. Wait.
The NDP are not a serious party. Have we not been saying
the NDP?
Have we not been saying this for
party.
Like 150 mashups? Is it 170 mashups? It's a lot, twos. We've been saying this for a long time, and now there is a headline. The NDP remains an unserious party for a serious time.
There it is. Honestly, out of all the times where we've been like, we covered this a few weeks ago, and now the mainstream media is picking it up, this is them literally years later getting across the finish line. Like, welcome to the party, pal.
I used our headline. We've been saying the NDP are not a serious party. It is
like for this.
Yeah. Do you want to show the David Eby video? Yeah, I assume you want to talk about
sec, I guess. Just
sure,
for a sec.
Sure.
So this is David
Valley copper mine. You can see behind me.
It doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter.
About. He looks like an idiot.
Sorry, I'm going to...
It doesn't matter how many Bentleys you got.
My old days of watching pro wrestling. Oh, man.
Well, I mean, in classic NDP, if you ain't sharing, people ain't caring.
It doesn't. Oh man, those were great days of wrestling. Sorry, folks, I'm having a flashback to watching The Rock do the Rock things. We've been following drivers, okay, just like the different drivers in general. There's like, I don't know, 15 videos this week. Twos, I assume you want to show a couple. I can talk about the driver charged in Richmond Hill daycare crash. Vinay Kumar Gupta.
We're definitely going to talk about that.
Well, okay, well, I'll start there. 7 children along with 3 staff members were taken to hospital where an 18-month-old toddler was pronounced dead. 2 children are still in critical condition. All others suffered non-life-threatening injuries. A 7-year-old man, Vinay Kumar Gupta.
Ooh, just real quick, let's look at the comparison between the two articles. Okay. Here's from City News, Toronto. Driver. That's all it is. It's a 70-year-old male driver.
Correct.
70-year-old male driver. Obvious question. Why didn't they announce the name? I mean, they did they did for the woman with the water gun. Why didn't they say who it is? Well, it's because if you go to the Sun article, his name is Vinay Kumar Gupta.
Yeah. Yeah. Here, I want to show this.
We're not going to be able to fix this problem until we're talking about it honestly. And
he drove into a daycare
and killed an 18-month-old baby.
Yeah.
And injured 6 others, including, I think, 1 or 2 critically.
It said it says all 2 children are still in critical condition.
Yeah.
I actually don't know what to say on that. 2 others were in critical condition. Yeah, through a daycare. There's other videos. Do you want to show? Well, I don't know.
Yeah. Let's just show a little bit of this. Here.
Look how smart this driver was, though. He disconnected his trailer.
He disconnected the Rajpur trailer. All right. Next one. This one's pretty.
Yeah, we've been seeing this.
Move your fucking bike out the fucking way.
So we started talking about this last week. Remember the guy in the mopeds stalling traffic? Well, it's happening more and more. We're seeing that. Here's a bus that went through, what was it? Crashed into the wall on Wayne Gretzky Drive in Edmonton yesterday. So that was a few days ago, but right through the wall.
Just a sec here. Eli, we're live on the show, man.
I had no idea. I apologize.
What's going on?
I'm not embarrassing you. If you're live, go live, man. I'll let you go.
All right, we'll talk soon.
That's guest host Vesper. Shout out to Vesper, wherever he's at. So you got the bus that crashes there.
Yeah, well, I mean, immigration in Canada is really breaking down barriers.
You got this one. Tractor trailer crashes into bus shelter in Toronto West End. Okay, so there's another. Like, it just goes on and on and on and on and on.
There's literally about 8 of these just this week.
If that
this is a good one. Someone managed to drive into. I'm pretty sure that's cheating.
I put it like, how you remember the Vancouver airport one from last week? Was that 2 weeks ago?
How did they get there?
How did they get there? Like, what is going on? But this will be the trend we follow, I'm sure, for the next 50 mashups, because this isn't getting better anytime soon. It just seems to be getting worse and worse. Okay, let's switch over to some goofy. If that wasn't goofy enough, let's switch over to some goofy. Okay, Metrolinx, an Ontario government corporation, has obtained permission from the federal government to hire an executive director at $220,000 a year as a temporary foreign worker.
So, look, I get it. Okay, temporary foreign workers have infiltrated our government. Our prime minister is a temporary foreign worker, Sean. But that doesn't mean that they all need to be.
Yeah.
And this is a good clip. Did you watch this clip? Oh,
pull it up. Pull it up. Come on, Tooz. Pull it up. Get your act together here. Pull it up.
I'm just going to reload it here real quick.
Good morning, Mr. Parley. I'm Ryan from Northern Perspective. One of the things that kind of shocks me is the lack of attention that the state-funded media has put on this issue since it became blatantly apparent.
Oh, where did the audio go?
Pausing.
Where did the audio go?
What's going on? What's going on? This is on CBC. This is so weird. This is so weird. What's going on?
So it looks like we're just having some connection issues with the question and answers. That
you're having some connection issues with the rest of the fucking country, you entitled pricks.
The Northern Perspective gets to ask a question, and when it happens, all of a sudden, all the sound goes away. So yeah, that's yeah. Study estimates 2023 Canadian wildfire smoke caused 82,000 premature deaths globally. That's the headline.
Yeah, that seems totally reasonable. 83,000 people died. 83,000 people died because of the 2023 wildfires. Now, if you remember, when we were doing Climate Arsonist of the Week, technically those should all be murders then, shouldn't they?
Technically, yes. You have this. Human waste contamination forces closure of Barrie City Hall fountain. The city of Barrie announced the early closure of City Hall fountain pond due to unsanitary conditions, citing acts of vandalism and contamination from human waste. Twos, what does it mean when it says contamination from human waste?
It means people are pooping in the pool. Like, it used to be a redneck thing. Like Jeff Foxworthy, he's got the joke. If you've ever peed in a pool that you are not currently inside of, you might be a redneck. Well, you know what? I can appreciate the desire to take a shit in front of City Hall. Okay? I get where you're coming from. But I don't think this is that.
Here's CTV. More Canadians feeling sense of national pride, StatCan data shows. According to the latest data from Canadian Social Survey, self-reported pride in Canada is up from last fall to 76% among citizens from 68% in 2024.
Those numbers seem really fucking high. But even within that, I just want to point out, you've got Canadians aged 75 plus, 91% of them are proud to be Canadian. Canadians aged 25 to 34, 69% are Canadian. Those bottom two pie charts are the old people and the young people. The young people are significantly more disillusioned with this country.
You have the city of Hamilton in Canada has ordered that a man remove cameras from his home after his camera captured video of 3 separate homicides.
Yes. So they passed new bylaws saying that the only thing your cameras can record is within the property itself. And he's actually looking at getting a special injunction and getting special permission. And he needs to provide sufficient documentation to show that it's in the police interest that he have these cameras. The fact that the cameras have caught 3 separate...
You're catching too many. Want that. We do not want to capture any of these violent crimes. You can't have these cameras.
The reason why they don't want them up there is because every time somebody does something stupid in Ontario, it ends up on this show.
Why Vancouver's decision to host a Harry Potter attraction quickly became controversial. J.K. Rowling's actions against the trans community are so egregious that I think we need to look at it, changing our minds on this, said Vancouver City Councillor Lucy Maloney. What was she talking about? She, along with fellow opposition councillor Sean Orr, called for the Park Board to reconsider the Harry Potter Forbidden Forest experience. Are we serious?
No, we are not. We are not a serious country. The NDP is not a serious party. This is not a serious country. None of this is serious. This is all just goofy ass shit. That's why we call it the goofy news.
The Coast Guard smoked another Coke boat, Operation Pacific Viper. You can, you probably want to show the video, I assume.
Yeah.
I mean, it's them lighting up a boat over and over and over again.
Couple of
2 minutes of them just firing off on this thing. They had seized Coke, they had arrested guys, and the boat was sitting there, and then they make sure it ain't coming back up.
They fired a warning shot.
So we posted the first video last week. This is a follow-up on that. I would assume you're going to see more of people that Ford tells unemployed young people seeking work to look harder.
Is that a little bit out of fucking touch? Just maybe. The highest youth unemployment rate in Canada in major centers, 2 of them, the top 2 are in Ontario. It's just that you're not trying hard enough to find a job.
Spotted in Montreal, an infamous Lion Electric bus was seen on fire. The company is still under multiple investigations. Taxpayer money is literally going up in flames, folks.
Well, here, I'm just going to show this as a still. I don't know what studies have been done. I'm really curious as to the carbon footprint that we're looking at right now. Do you think that these EV buses, how many more EV buses is it going to take to make the EV buses carbon neutral with all of that
After
smoke
this,
coming out?
a few more.
Yeah.
A few more.
Well, we have to get more buses because the last few burned down. and we need to make everything green again.
I didn't think we were going to talk about this guy again for a long time, but Trudeau, I know Tuz wants to talk about it every time, but Trudeau returns to the world stage as a guest speaker. Here's what he said during his speech in Korea. The rules-based order of the past 80 years has delivered peace, prosperity, and stability unlike anything humanity has ever experienced, Trudeau said during his keynote address at the 26th World Knowledge Forum. If I was going to put anyone on the World Knowledge Forum, Justin Trudeau would not be my pick, especially when it comes with a price tag of $100,000.
Well, that's exactly it. And doesn't that seem a little bit fucking suspicious, if I'm being honest, that Justin Trudeau, in the same way that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, once they retire from politics, they charge hundreds of thousands of dollars for speaking engagements. At least with Barack Obama, you can understand it a little bit because the man's well-spoken. But Justin Trudeau, I say if there's one thing, but there's a million things that guy taught us. But one of the many things that guy taught us over the last 10 years is that whenever that dipshit gets in front of a microphone, he does more sputtering than cold starting dollars to speak at your event just because you think it'd be interesting to listen to. Fuck no. This is fucking money laundering. We just don't know exactly how yet. I can almost promise you.
Montreal group urges city to bar Israel cycling team from Grand Prix. A Montreal-based group has asked Mayor Valerie Plante to bar the Israel Premier tech cycling team from competing in the Grand Prix de Montreal on Sunday. Palestinian, well, I don't know, and then it goes on and on.
Well, here, I'll break it down for you.
Yes.
So they want to bar the Israeli cycling team from the Grand Prix, which actually I'm in favor of. I think that would totally make things fair. Because I don't know if you've ever seen the way cyclists dress, but I'm sure that the Palestinian cycling team got thrown off a building.
The self-described ringleader of I don't know how to say that. The self-described ringleader of a theft organization in Winnipeg, you can't make this headline up, is suing one of the last remaining business owners in a Winnipeg area for beating him after he tried to steal a car, leaving him with feelings of worthlessness.
Yes. So the statement of claim says that this career thief is being left with feelings of worthlessness after being beat up in mid-theft, and that it's actually he's trying to sue for damages because it's impacted his future earning potential. I can't steal any more cars if I'm in this wheelchair. You've got to pay. You've got to pay because you've affected my livelihood. Do you have any idea how many people depend on me to fucking rob the gas stations of their smokes and scratchers?
I mean, truth is stranger than fiction,
I
folks.
can't outrun the cops with a broken leg, asshole.
CTV News. Global warming linked to consumption of sugary drinks, ice cream, and new research. No, we don't need to read anything into this. Just the headline, folks. There you go. New Quebec polling data. We've been kind of paying attention to this one as well. And here, I'll pull up on screen so people can see.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the Parti Québécois seems to be doing fairly well. And the incumbent, Coalition Avenir Québec, is tanking. And then if you go below it, here, I'm going to kick you out for a second to show you. Here's the article underneath. Here's the source. Le CAQ désormais derrière les PCQ et menacé d'asphyxie. Now, for those of you who don't speak French, what this translates to is, roughly speaking, the CAQ's enormous ass is threatening to asphyxiate the Parti Québécois. Désormais derrière menacé d'asphyxier.
I think we should have a new segment where Tuz reads everything in French. I think that'd be great. Jesse Klein, Carney's plan to reduce red tape already mirrored in bureaucracy. StatsCan report.
No way.
Do I need to read any more?
We're going to reduce red tape. Okay, but there's more red tape associated with that red tape. So you can't really reduce the red tape without incurring other red tape. This is exactly why nothing gets done in this fucking joke of a country.
A man has been arrested in the UK for calling someone a muppet. You could show it. I mean, you could certainly show the video if you like.
Everything's just froze up.
Oh, well, we're having fun on Mashup 175, folks. Twos is froze. Everybody's froze. Pets' heads are falling off. This is the way it seems to be going right now. Twos, where'd you go? I don't know. Like, do I got a co-host here today? Like, is anything gonna work? Is anything gonna work? It just feels like this is the week it's been, you know? Twos is gone. I don't know. A guy got called a Muppet, or got arrested for calling him a Muppet.
Hey,
there
I
you
could
are.
hear you the whole time. Everything just froze right the hell up. But here's where it gets interesting.
What have I done? Tell me what I've done. There's a member of the public who you've apparently been shouting at and calling him a Muppet.
Right, a Muppet, yeah, and
You call us a lamb in distress. She's very upset.
right. Well, I'm gonna be straight with you guys now. Right.
Get you into court.
I can feel you shaking. I can feel you shaking. Down.
He's being arrested and charged with calling somebody a Muppet. That's the UK right now. Carney surprises many.
Talking about Muppets, here's a Muppet.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Great segue, by the way. Carney surprises many with appearance at long distance trail race.
Yay!
Things are going so well for Jones. Get the media to cover me while I go for a run playbook. And if we compare the two of them, actually, I think Carney skipped like a day less than Trudeau did, so good on him for that.
You can now stream
That's
Rosemary
not what
Barton
it says.
live here.
That's not what it says.
Now you can
Read
now
it.
steam Rosemary Barton live here.
You can now steam Rosemary Barton live. You know what else steams? Giant piles of shit. Rosemary Barton, one of Canada's highest paid news broadcasters, can't even get the fucking spelling right in a basic tweet. This is what we pay $1.5 billion a year for, folks. And she didn't even take it down or change it. And meanwhile, you've got Glenn McGregor, who blocked me, by the way, for calling him out for being a POS. Conservatives post a letter listing their priorities for the fall sitting of Parliament, and once again, better proofreading is not among them. Listen, the legacy media, I think, as we have shown many times on a weekly basis, should probably not throw stones in a glass house full of semicolons.
Show Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He's got a no-hitter with 1 out to remain, right? Twos. Well,
that's so. There's another one here before that. So
what?
Yeah. So Missoula, they got a fan onto the field with a chance to kick a 45-yard field goal to win $25,000.
Oh, I haven't seen this.
So this is what happens. So he gets a chance to come out onto the field to kick a 45-yard field goal for
kick a 45-year-old. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Kick a 45-year-old. Kick a 45 field goal for $25,000. And here's what he does. He holds his shirt up, and it says FKU, Kansas U. Then he kicks the ball at the Kansas sidelines. Okay, here's the deal. You just put it through the uprights, and you get $25,000. Got it? Yeah. I got a better idea, though. Fuck Kansas U.
Well, there you go. Okay, show me the video.
This would be like if I got a chance to shoot hit an empty net from center ice at an Oilers game for $25,000,
and you shot it at the Oilers
and I
bench.
just flipped off the crowd and then shot the puck at Connor McDavid. This
probably
is that.
You probably wouldn't make it out of that arena alive. I could be wrong. Okay, no hitter here. Let's show this. Okay, so this pitcher
2
has got
outs
a
in
no
the
hitter.
ninth.
2 outs in the 9th. Here it is. Show the video.
The edges. Holiday to right field. That ball is hit deep at the wall.
Look at where it hits. Whoa! Just scroll it back just slightly. Can you scroll it back just slightly? Can we see where it hits? It hits
right
like
there.
right there.
Right there.
Where right there.
All he had to do was just run a little bit harder and throw a bit of a jump, and he could have caught that, and he didn't.
Yeah, I know.
Your
I watched it and I'm
pitcher-
like, oh man, sell out. Sell out. No hitter? Come on.
Dude, you spray yourself against that fence. You give it everything you got.
I agree.
Anyway.
I agree with you.
They lost that game. They 2 outs in the 9th with a no-hitter. But here's the kicker. This is what happened. MLB on their Twitter account. You might want to turn on your television. Yoshinobu Yamamoto has a no-hitter through 8 innings. The golden rule, the unbreakable rule of no-hitters is that you don't ever talk about the fact that they're pitching a no-hitter. And this is what happened from the MLB Twitter account. What an asshole.
Sticking with the MLB. Show Karen of the day. Okay. Father goes, gets the ball.
Yeah. So here, let's break this down. So he runs over, gets the ball.
Gets the ball, gives it to his
Gives it
kid.
to his son. And then, Karen jumps in. She felt that she was entitled to have gotten that ball because it landed closer to her.
And you can see
he's scared. He's scared. Look at him like doing the arm things. And then, just to get her to shut up and go away, he gives her the ball. Look at that. She's right in their fucking face.
Yeah.
Listen. First off, you just stand there calmly and you tell people like that to fuck off. Secondly, when your small child is there with you and someone's at you like that, you very insistently but gently place them behind you and you put yourself between that crazy person and your kid. Everybody sucks in this. Now, to be fair, the Phillies...
Everybody sucks except for Marcus Lemonis. I hope I'm saying that right. And then the Phillies.
Yeah. Now, the Phillies gave him some autograph bats and stuff like that. And the Marcus guy you're talking about gave him a free trip and an RV. But when something like this happens with you, with some HR mecha Karen, you just look her right in the eye and be like, you need to shut up. You need to sit down. And if you make a move to grab that ball, I'm going to assume you're attacking my child, and I'm going to punch you in one of your shitty boobs.
Pretty wild. She gets right in there, girl. They end up giving her the ball. And then, the 2 things. The Phillies give him a signed bat, bring him underneath and everything. And then, they get
Which is cool, but you've got it. Like,
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you. As a dad, you just got to take a step back, son. Let me deal with this. No.
Yeah.
This is baseball where nobody's entitled to a ball. If you get it and you rip it out of said hand, which we've shown on this show.
Yep. You give it to a kid. The only people entitled to the balls are the kids, no matter what, every time. I caught a puck once at a Hitman game. I was, you know how they got the mesh all the way around on the end?
Sure.
The seat was like just enough off to the side that when someone tried to dump the puck, it just went right past and got it out of the air. It was, they're having a few beers with some buddies from work. And it's like that classic Don Cherry clip where, if you women are at the game and you're yapping with each other and you're not watching what's happening and then boom, a puck hits you in the face. That's literally what I stopped. Like just, and Mike would have gotten it right in the kisser. And then gave it to a kid. And then one of the people in the in the gold suits comes by, and they gave me a couple like gift cards to Cactus Club. And I was like,
Pretty
oh, that
good
was
deal.
kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kid got the puck. That's what you do. That's what you do. And if it's
It's for
somebody
the
you don't
kids.
like, you let it
But
bounce
once
off their
again,
face first, and then you catch it.
everybody knows this show. Me and Twos don't always agree, but I actually really agree with you on this. Like, yes, it's for the kids, 100%, 110%.
All right.
Okay. Happy news.
What a whirlwind day. Happy news.
The unprecedented move by Edmonton police publicly object to Crown accepting manslaughter plea in Indigenous girl's homicide. Edmonton police are objecting to a decision by Crown prosecutors to offer a plea deal to a woman charged with murdering an 8-year-old girl, an unprecedented move in which the service laid bare its dissatisfaction with the organization that prosecutes most of its cases.
We're finally getting to a point where the police are ready to speak up and say that this needs to fucking stop. And as bad as it's gotten leading up to it, I'm glad that they're finally doing this.
Also, a team of organized vandals cut down 16 speed ticket cameras in Toronto last night.
Yes. So what happened the night before that was that the Parkside camera that, you know how like it's just been mysteriously ending up in the happy news every time this camera gets cut down? And this is the 7th time it happened. And I'm going to come clean with you guys. I love that it keeps happening, and I've been putting it in the happy news on purpose.
Well, the Ford government says it will remove automatic speed enforcement cameras this fall if municipalities do not take steps to scrap them. Quoted, we are exploring alternative tools to enhance traffic safety without the use of automatic speed cameras that are nothing but a cash grab. And
you know what? You know what would improve traffic safety in this country? A little bit of fucking border control.
Community notes. Okay, we're
not done yet. I just want to frame this. Let me frame this here real quick. So the main one gets cut down for the 7th time this year. And then that's a big deal. And there's this big, the media's like, oh, it keeps getting cut down. Oh, it's so horrible. And then they're like, you know what? Screw you. And that night they cut down 16 more. This is what we need. This is what I'm here for. That's why it's in the happy news. Go with community notes, brother.
Community notes. Okay. Okay. So let's start with the mash bill. Okay. So we had said last week, this is why we don't announce things too early, Twos.
Oh,
we were going to do
my fault.
It is your fault. November 29th. But then the UCP AGM is that weekend. And we're like, okay, wait. A bunch of you who would probably come to what we're doing needs to participate, like Chris Sims says, in the things that are in the political arena. And so we don't want to pull anyone from that. So what we're doing is we're looking into January, booking a date so that we can have that all set up. So January, the MASH bill will happen. We're going to confirm everything and make sure we have no problems.
We have a tentative date yet, which is not going to be announced yet because we don't want to get out too far in front of things, Sean.
Correct. And everything's still going to be the same. There's going to be 16 teams available. We will have some people there that are going to be a lot of fun to have, curl with. I don't think anybody's going to want to curl with me. Please, if you're putting in a team and want to win something, don't pick me. Just don't pick me. I'm competitive, but I suck. So, I mean, that'll be fun to watch me, suck at curling maybe. But if you're trying to win, probably pick Twos on this one. I'm not going to lie. But we're going to have more details on that coming soon, but we want to make sure that we're not conflicting with, the UCP AGM, because, we need people to be not being conflicted about missing, the UCP AGM and coming to the MASH bill. We all know where you guys' hearts are, but we're thinking of what's going on here in our communities, and we want people to be involved in that. That's what Chris Sims says every time she comes on the show. So go be involved in the AGM and the MASH bill. And then the MASH spiel in January. So January is where we're pushing it to. We'll have more details coming. We want to make sure that they're all locked up and we're not conflicting with things. Also, we have a Quick Tick McDick live fundraiser for the Lashburn Playground, November 22nd. You can get tickets at showpass.com/Lashburn. You have We Unify coming up next weekend, okay? I'm going to be attending. I think Twos is going to be attending for part of it. That is September 19th to 21st. Tickets are online. Search We Unify. All the things are there. That's coming up. You got Kieran Gardner and the Blucher Boys Saturday, September 13th. That's tomorrow in Lloydminster at Cheers Live. You have the SMP Christmas party, December 20th. I got the dueling pianos coming to Lloydminster at the casino. If you're interested in buying a table, I only sell tables for this. It's basically for companies. So if you're interested in that, shoot me a text. I'm going to have it out on the Substack this weekend. There's going to be a post, so pay attention for that. And then twos, I sent you a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, you did. You want me to read some off?
Yeah, please do.
All right. 100th anniversary of the Wainwright Memorial Clock Tower, Saturday, September 13th. Ceremony 2:30 p.m. on Main Street. Barbecue and dance 4 p.m. at the Legion. Clock Tower stands as a tribute to those who gave their lives in the First and Second World Wars, as well as Afghanistan and global peacekeeping missions.
Then you got Rock Solid Refuge is doing Ride for Refuge, their 20th year celebration on October 4th. Ride for Refuge will be at Lac Pelletier, south of Swift Current, Saskatchewan. 20 years celebrating a celebration from 2 to 7 on location at Rock Solid Refuge, northeast of Shaunavon, Saskatchewan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, well, of course, you're going to talk about that because it's Shaunavon. You know what? If anybody out there is in Tuesavon, let us know what events you're having, and we'll talk about those too.
The Warren Pinto Memorial Fly-In and Flight Fair, Saturday, September 27th. Free airplane rides. It goes from 11 to 4 p.m. Registration info coming soon. That's in Grand Prairie. You got Marwayne and Arena presents Drink for the Rink, featuring Gregory opening Olivia Rose. She's from Elk Point. That's Saturday, September 20th at the Marwayne Hall. Tables available and silent auction. So proceeds going to the Marwayne Arena renovations. I think that's got us caught up. Anything else that I missed in the show note? I don't think so.
Well, the Marwayne Arena is already gorgeous. I don't know why they need to renovate it, but fair enough.
Folks, that's going to do it for Mashup 175. It's been clunky. I don't know why. Hopefully everything on Spotify, Apple, when it's released here soon, will be clear audio and everything. You can head over there. But either way, twos as always. Appreciate having you on and everything on this side. 175 mashups, man. And this one's been a somber one, but folks, appreciate you hopping on and being with us. Today, we're here every Friday, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And if you enjoy what the show's doing, please share with a friend. Please subscribe to the YouTube page or any of our pages, X, Facebook, Rumble. And appreciate you all being here. And come curl with us in January. We'd love to meet you all. Twos, anything else?
That's her, man.
Till next week, folks.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Tell me whether I'm wrong or right. East or west, up or down, side to side. I sit to stand and fall to fly. Of all of my impulsive plans, popping, locking, salsa dances on demand. I follow leading off the map and stop the chatter, scream happily.
Welcome to the Mashup.
Welcome to the Mashup.